Canadiens have kept the Oilers scoreless so far after a 2 is a great sign, considering that Montreal comes in 31st in goals against, and it's a big reason why Martin St. Louis has made so many changes throughout the year, including having Lane Hutson and Noah Dobson play together recently. With more on that, here's Arpon's Notebook with Jon Still and Arpon Basu.
Canadiens with a 2-0 lead over the Oilers after 40 minutes. Welcoming in the Athletics' Arpon Basu as the Montreal Canadiens try and have a mature performance in the third period. Their coach would certainly like having a 2-goal lead, and one of the reasons why the Canadiens' deep pairings have been so fluid this year is because Martin St. Louis trying to find that consistency in their game. We've seen plenty of juggling in game, and now we're seeing it before the game. And the real question for me, Arpon, to you, is why?
Well, the why is simple. Kaiden Guhle got injured. This team has 4 top 4 defensemen in the organization. Now they have 3. And so ever since that injury, they've tried to sort of, squeeze in Jaden Struble and turn him into a top 4 defenseman. It's had mixed results, and that's really been the advantage he's had in Arbor Jacka in terms of staying in the lineup, is that he can play with Lane Hutson, and he does become that de facto top 4. But, an interesting thing happened on Thursday where he got dropped to the third pair, and then Alex Carrier inherited that top 4 position. And so really, what Marty St. Louis is trying to do is elevate one of these guys that are not typical or ideal top 4 defensemen into a top 4 role. And tonight it's really blatant. Honestly, the Matheson-Dobson pairing came back together because they're going to be on the ice with Connor McDavid. So the result was that it was Lane Hutson and Alex Carrier becoming the second half of that top 4. And who do they get? Leon Draisaitl. Now, I remember when Carrier first got traded to this team, I was like, oh, you should pair him with Hutson. And the reason they didn't do that, I think you're watching tonight, is those are 2 of the lightest defensemen, not only on the team, but really that would probably be the lightest D pairing in the league. They have to face the Grizzly Bear, Leon Draisaitl, tonight and try to battle him down low. But they're actually doing a pretty good job of it. But still, it really underlies the importance of Kaiden Guhle, right? The way that they've been actually able to survive without him when they don't have 4 top 4 defensemen and just trying to survive with 3 has honestly been commendable. I think a factor that's not really mentioned enough in how the Canadiens have done so far.
Not just surviving without Kaiden Guhle, but surviving with some really substandard goaltending. Not just the Montreal Canadiens, but the Edmonton Oilers as well. The Oil, they try to trade for their problem. The Canadiens try to recall their problem in Jacob Fowler, who played the last 2 games. Just this musical chairs. Stan Bowman knows it well. Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon are starting to know it well. It's been quite an issue for the Canadiens recently, and for the Oilers.
Well, these are the 2 teams with the worst goaltending in the league. They're 31 and 32. They kind of flip flop back and forth, and it's no surprise. And so when Jacob Fowler was called up last week, a lot of people were like, panic move, desperation, this and that. But the alternative is what the Oilers did, which was make a really, honestly, poor trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins, where they bring in Tristan Jarry. He's got 2 years left on his deal, over $5 million. They have to throw in Brett Kulak to make the money work, and a second-round pick. And yes, they get Sam Poulin back as a prospect, but still, this is throwing more assets at an issue that was predictable going into the season, and that really shouldn't have been addressed. But this was the alternative that the Canadiens had, other than calling up Jacob Fowler. Obviously, Fowler had a great debut, was pretty good last night in New York as well. But really the reason they called up Fowler is an unwillingness to do essentially what the Oilers did, which was overpay for a goalie that doesn't really solve your problem.
So far, a bounce back 40 minutes for Jakub Dobeš. We'll see if he can bring the Canadiens home the final 20 minutes. Arpon, thank you.
Thank you, John.